Alright, so I'm here to talk today about blowers and their uses and etc., blah blah blah, certain questions, things that not everyone explains. There's a few videos that some people go in real depth, but if you're just starting out and trying to hammer some hot steel, then don't mind the mess. Don't judge me. Dun dun dun. Anyway, so certain blowers, you get certain CFM. It can, the higher CFM, the higher fire you can have, but at the same time, too much CFM can actually put your fire out. So, let's get a rod here. All right. So you got your fire pot. I know I'm an excellent drawer. I thought about being a professional. And you have your air intake either coming through here or the side blast. Some people say side blast is better, others prefer the bottom blast. You know what, it's all preference. With a side blast, it builds up the pocket, and as the fire goes, all your slag and stuff goes down to the bottom. As the bottom blast, it goes down to the bottom too, but it'll also block your hole. But it also depends on really how big your airflow is. So say you have something like a mattress pump or even a hair dryer. Maybe not so much the hair dryer, but the mattress pump, because it'll push enough air to have a fire, but it's not enough air to have a big fire. As a hair dryer will give you a little bigger fire, but not too big. You can't do anything too big with a hair dryer. You can only do small things with this, medium stuff with this, and then if you upgrade to something like this, you can do big things. Which that thing is excellent. That was $20, and it pushes like 120, 130 CFM. It's beautiful. But anyway, so the more airflow you have, the bigger pocket of cold air you're going to have, keeping your 2-iron cool, or fire grate, whatever you want to call it. And then above that, you have your heat. So that, like, you have your cold, all this. Your welding heat would be about here, and then above it is just your standard red heat, and then you have more coal piled up just to insulate the fire and keep it all in place. So if you have a big cold spot, your slag and all that is going to come over to the sides. It's not going to hit in the bottom. By the time it gets to your cold spot, it'll cool down and then stay. But eventually it will build up and go across and block your air. And you're going to have to go in there, dig it out, fish yourself out a big slag donut, because that's the shape of it. And the same goes with the side blast. Eventually, all people say, yeah, it's so much better, you don't have to clean it as often. I use the side blast forge, and I have to clean it every time I use it. I have to take the slag out, blah blah blah. So you could use the mattress pump, which I said, it doesn't push a ton of air, but it'll get you started. You'll be able to do small things, like rods like this, it'll get up to welding heat. Or you can get a hair dryer. Oh, the mailman's back. I got my welding rods. Interrupting my videos. Alright, well, I got my welding rods, 5 pounds, like 20 bucks. If you're starting out welding, or you just need crap welding sticks, these actually aren't crap, they're actually pretty good. They work pretty well. But, not advertising or anything, but they work well. Alright, back to what I was saying. So, yes, this will get you started. This will get you started too. This is actually probably cheaper than the mattress pump, depending on where you go. I think the mattress pump was more expensive. They can go, a real cheap one, 10 bucks, 12 bucks. Maybe you can go to a thrift shop and get something for cheaper. This one was 15 or 20. This is probably around the same price as this. I forgot how much that is. This was off Amazon. It only has 2 reviews, but it actually works really well. And it pushes a ton of air. I actually don't use that now because it pushes too much air. And I don't do big enough things. It'll melt my work if I don't pay attention to it. And then this is the Sunlar blower, which it works really well, but the motor is like a 64th, I think, of a horsepower, which isn't crap, but it blows really well. The impeller in it has a good design. Needless to say, I used it for 3 months and the motor caught on fire. So what I have on it now is an old, big, like industrial fan motor. It's a third of a horsepower. So that's gonna last forever, the motor anyway. I'm not using it now because the impeller, when I drilled it out, it wasn't perfectly centered, so it wobbles very little bit, but wobbling over too much time, it's gonna destroy it. Currently, right now, this is the blower I'm using. It doesn't push as much air as this or that. It pushes probably a little more air than this, but which is good because I'm not doing, like I said, I'm not doing huge things. I'm doing, small camp axes, stuff of that nature, and hammers. But what this is I took an air conditioner apart. The what is it? Condenser unit. The little thing where the Freon goes in with the radiator, blah blah blah. I ripped the radiators out, the Freon container, condenser unit, whatever you want to call it, and I took the motor from the fan. If anyone notices, when you have an air conditioner, you run that thing 24/7 during the summer, right? And the fan is constantly going. This motor is probably 2-3 years old, and it still runs. When I took it out, it had the switch already on it. All the wiring, you just follow the wires back from the motor to the switch and then match, all the colors match up. So remove whatever wires that you don't have. And, it works fine. Look at all that slag. See, the side blast, still pulling out slag. So even the side blast, you still get a good amount of slag. So, ooh, that was hot. But, it works. You can hear the air coming out. So yeah, the bigger the work, the bigger the blower, the higher the CFM you would need. But with big motors like that or that, that'd be perfect. Just get a dimming switch. The only good thing about the Sunlar product that I got from Amazon was this switch. I use this switch for that motor. I don't use it for that one because that motor already had switches on it. So yeah, that's pretty much the only good thing about it. It's a $70 blower for just the blower. And it dies in a few months. If you're a beginner smith and you only do it on the weekends, go ahead. Actually, you know what? Don't even spend the money on it. Buy a hairdryer. Or if you have a girlfriend, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask to borrow things. So if you have a girlfriend or whatever, your wife, just, take a hairdryer, try it out. And like I said, they're $10. Buy another one or just buy yourself one. A great beginner blower is a hairdryer or even the mattress pump. If you can get one for cheap, hey, awesome. If you can't, then alright, well, that's what I wanted to talk about, and I'm out.